Hey there, I'm Gary Parrish. Welcome back to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting dodo birds.
We know.
Black.
We
Matt
know.
Norlander. Matt Norlander is here with me. The Sweet 16 is still 2 days away, but we're like 7 hours closer to it since the last time we podcasted.
That's right.
That's exciting. How you been the past 7 hours? What you been up to?
You want to do a run? You know what? Let's just do a rundown here. Made a bunch of calls on the carousel. Got a little bit of time with the kids in. I actually am now in real time realizing that I didn't check my older son's homework. I'm going to do that after this podcast. Put the kids down. Did a little mushroom potato medley with some salmon for dinner. Mixed that in. Just been running around. Well, what's your past 7 hours been like, GP?
I left FedEx Forum, got the kids home from school. I don't have time to make dinner. My wife's out of town.
I didn't have an option tonight. My wife was like, you got to do dinner tonight. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I have to.
My wife's out of town.
Mac and cheese, carrots and ranch, little pouch dealio. Kids were good to go.
No, I got home at midnight last night after being gone for 6 nights. Went to bed at 3, got up this morning, took my kids to school, did three shows, I think two shows. Got home, got the kids home from school. Wife's out of town, so I'm responsible for dinner, but have no time to make it. So this was our conversation tonight. Hey boys, what do you want for dinner? Can we have McDonald's? Yeah, Uber Eats. So we Uber Eats McDonald's, a couple Big Mac meals. Healthy. We're living healthy down here.
I'm not judging. I'm surprised it was like whatever. Okay. It's not only Uber Eats, it's McDonald's. No offense. I mean it. No offense at all.
That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. If they would have said they wanted Ruth's Chris, we'd order Ruth's Chris. I'm just trying to knock things off of a to-do list. And then I prepared for another show. And then when I get through with this, I'll take a 5-hour energy, since I got like 7 boxes of them downstairs. 5-hour energy.
You didn't listen to the show Sunday. Cobb is telling me he used all of his Paramount points to buy like 3 cases of Celsius.
I got 7 boxes of 5-hour energy downstairs. They keep sending it. So I'm down a couple of 5-hour energies. Pack. Say goodbye to my kids again, and then head back to New York tomorrow. So yeah, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome.
Hey, we got a Sweet 16. We got a Sweet 16 to preview. This is, by the way, if you're watching live on YouTube, surprise, we're live. We are doing this specifically because GP's got stuff to do in the morning. He's got travel back to New York, and then I'm going to Newark for the regionals. So we have to get you. We are literally contractually obligated at this point to get you this episode, a non-CBS Sports Network episode. And if you're watching live on YouTube, you're getting it on Tuesday. This is technically hitting the audio feed shortly after midnight on Wednesday. All too happy to do it. I genuinely, truly hope that you are not all sick of us. I mean it. I'm happy to talk to GP. We do it plenty. It's great to see your face. It's wonderful to hear your voice. And I just hope that you're not getting podcast overload. It is March Madness. I'm ready to go. Break down whatever we want to talk about here, GP.
So before we get to a bunch of sponsored segments, tell me about your 2 or 3 favorite storylines heading into the Sweet 16. I think over the past 3 nights, we've talked about this, 3 days rather. We've talked about this so much. We've pretty much explored it from every angle. But if you were talking for the first time and nobody had ever heard you say a single thing about the Sweet 16, and I said, Matt Norlander, college basketball insider, CBS Sports, tell me what to look forward to with this Sweet 16 in the 2025 NCAA tournament that lacks Cinderellas other than, of course, John Calipari.
Of course, yeah. Are we going with John Cinderella or Johnny Cinderella? I feel like both of them work. You make the call.
I went strictly John Cinderella because John Calipari. But if you want to go Johnny Cinderella, it's fine with me. I think either one of them works. I just like the idea of John Calipari being the Cinderella of the 2025 NCAA tournament.
Correct. He is actually, this is not one of my picks, but he is coaching. How about this? He is coaching a double-digit seed in the tournament for the first time ever in his career. Did you realize that?
I did. 24th NCAA tournament appearance, had never been, I believe, worse than an 8 seed. I think 8 was as low as it had ever gone, but certainly never a double-digit seed. And for the first time ever as a double-digit seed, he advances to the Sweet 16. It is a neat story. We spent a lot of time on it.
It's not going to be the ones I give. So these are, and I want to give at least a little. If you're consuming every podcast, we obviously super duper appreciate you. But I don't think we frame stuff like this. So here are the 3 storylines / things about the Sweet 16 that I find to be the most intriguing. Number one is the 4 first-year coaches that are in the Sweet 16 with schools that didn't win a tournament game a year ago. That's never happened in the history of the tournament. You've got Pope at Kentucky, Kevin Young at BYU, John Calipari at Arkansas. All of those are connected from the coaching carousel a year ago. And then you have Dusty May at Michigan, and not only doing it at Michigan, but doing it with the Michigan team that only won 8 games a year ago. So that one is just pretty cool to me. And if you told me we got it again in the next 5 years, I think I'd believe you with how just the churn of everything with the carousel and maybe where we're going to be moving forward in college basketball. Maybe we don't. We never had it before this year. I'm intrigued by that angle with it. And I'd say, even though Michigan's the worst seed, BYU's the worst seed, and Arkansas is the worst seed, and Kentucky, they're all the worst seed. I think at least one of them will break through and make the Elite Eight. I think that's a pretty cool storyline. Number 2 for me is the fact that Maryland is in the Sweet 16 for only the second time since 2003. Now, to the Maryland fans that listen to the show, they're extremely aware of this, but it's not even that they haven't made all but 2 Sweet 16s in 22 years. It's also that they're only in a second one because of Derek Queen making the shot he did, the play he did, semi-controversial fashion, hitting it at the buzzer. They got there barely after Jalen Lake had that awesome shot before the shot, and they're also doing it while their coach has frequently addressed his gripes and grievances with his university, which now doesn't have an athletic director. And no one really knows if he's doing this because he's out to Nova no matter what, or if he's doing it because he doesn't have a boss right now and he has the school over a barrel and he's going to get whatever he wants and he has every intention of staying at Maryland. I think that is super duper intriguing. And then my third one is Houston having to, and I don't think we've talked about this too much on the show. Houston has to do this in Indianapolis. It's got to go against Purdue. And then if it wins, it's got to either play Kentucky or Tennessee. Houston fans will show up, but I think it is logical to expect that Purdue, Kentucky, and Tennessee fans, because of the proximity and all of those fan bases being able to drive to Indianapolis, are going to be there in bigger numbers. So if Houston is going to get to the Final Four, it needs to probably win 2, if not de facto road games, something that's a proxy to that overall GP. And Kelvin Sampson's had a really good program yet again. We'll see if it can get through. It's my national championship pick. Those are the 3 that intrigue me. Also, a quick gripe. I literally hate that they're playing this at Lucas Oil Stadium, where we're going to have the Final Four. I get it. I don't know the answer. Why can't this be played in the basketball arenas like they're doing the other 3? Like we need to permanently move on from the regional semis and the regional finals being in football stadiums. Not needed. Put them in basketball arenas. Save the Final Four for the big one there. Did the Pacers absolutely insist on having a home game? I don't know the reason why. I just find it to be completely unnecessary. I think they're probably doing it for like quote unquote dress rehearsal for the Final Four a year from now. You've had it in this building plenty of times before. You don't need to do that again. I don't like it. Had to get it off my chest. Those are my storylines, reactions, and what are yours?
Isn't it as simple as you can sell a lot more tickets to Lucas Oil than you can Gainbridge Fieldhouse?
If that's the case, why don't they do it in Atlanta?
No, they probably will at some point.
Well, they used to do it in the past. They've moved away from it. Newark doesn't really have that option. And San Francisco, I'd love to see him try play it down in Santa Clara. I don't know. I do not want to give the NCAA any more ideas. That might be it, but not a good enough reason for me. You can sell plenty of tickets at the Final Four and make up for it. The basketball game should be played in basketball arenas until it is actually logistically rational to put it in a football stadium where you want to accommodate as much fans as possible. But that's a personal gripe. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer basketball and basketball arenas as well, but I also understand the business of money making. And if you can put 50,000 in a dome, or a stadium as opposed to 17 in a traditional basketball arena, well, that money adds up pretty quick. So like whatever. I agree with you fundamentally, but I also understand the more seats, the more money, and that's typically the way these things go. For me, the big story, and I don't hate, and we've talked about this before, I don't hate it being in Lucas Oil as much as I hate 1 seed Houston having to play Purdue so close to its campus. Like I know that the NCAA acknowledges this as a possibility, but then steers away from addressing it. I fundamentally believe this. I do not think a 2 seed, 3 seed, or 4 seed should be placed in a regional in close proximity to its campus at the expense of a number 1 seed. Like I would make that a bracketing principle. I do not ever want to be in a situation where you're having to play a de facto road game before the Final Four as a number 1 seed. I don't mind Auburn getting placed close to its campus because it's the 1 seed. It earned that. But Houston earned a 1 seed and now is placed in a position where it's disadvantaged, having to play so close to Purdue's campus. And if I were in charge of the whole thing, that is something we would look closely at and fix. Any other storylines you want to touch on, or are you ready to move on?
No, a couple nuggets. Just as before because the next time we talk will be a few shows because of logistics with shows. But we're looking to see, like, the SEC is going to try and get 5 into the Elite 8. That's never happened before. We'll see. The SEC is probably going to set the record. Probably. We'll see. For tournament wins, that is 19. The ACC did it back in 2016. There's only been 1 Elite 8 ever with 3 coaches. I mentioned the 4 coaches in one spot. Only 1 Elite 8 ever had 3 coaches in their first year make it that year, and that was in 98. Bill Guthridge, UNC, Tubby Smith, Kentucky, Jim Herrick, that was Rhode Island. Shouts, man, oh man, Rhodey back all the way in 98 there. A couple more nuggets and we can move on. Michigan, BYU, Ole Miss, and Arkansas can make it a 5th. Sorry, they're a 5 seed or worse. They can make it a 12th straight tournament, getting to a Final Four with a 5 seed or worse. We talk about all the chalk, but that streak is still technically alive. We'll see if we get there. We haven't had, it's been a dozen years since we've had a Final Four with nothing but 4 seeds or better. So we'll see that. Alabama, Tennessee, and Purdue, they're all trying to make back-to-back Elite 8s for the first time in school history. You got to believe at least one, and conceivably, I guess all 3 could do it, but none of those schools have gone to back-to-back Elite 8s. They're going to try and do that. And then the last one, shouts to our research team for this. This is pretty intriguing. Right now, transfers in this tournament have accounted for 53% of the scoring. That figure was 8% in 2011. It was 15% in 2016. And 4 seasons ago in the bubble tournament, it was 28%. It is now 53% of the scoring in this one is from transfers. They didn't start at the original school there. And 11 of the 16 teams here are led in scoring by a transfer. So new world, that's not going to change, but I found that data to be interesting.
All right, up next, we'll play Stay or Hit, brought to you by Chumba Casino. But first, let's get a quick word from our partners.
One of golf's elite courses, Quail Hollow, hosts the game's top players at the PGA Championship this May on CBS.
All right, now it's time for the Stay or Hit segment, brought to you by Chumba Casino. Whether you're chilling at home or on the move, play for the chance to redeem some serious prizes with Chumba Casino. Norlander, today, it's Stay or Hit. Yes. Final Four most outstanding player. I'll name players.
Okay. And
you tell me which one you think is more likely to end up as the Final Four's most outstanding player. Our starting place is Auburn's Johni Broome. Do you want to stay on Auburn's Johni Broome or hit and get Florida's Walter Clayton Jr.?
I'll stay.
I think that Auburn's more likely to be in the Final Four than Florida, so I will take Broome as default.
Do you want to stay on Johni Broome or hit and get Houston's LJ Cryer?
Final Four MOP?
MOP.
I mean,
I suggest you hit, sir.
You're taking LJ Cryer over Johni Broome.
Keep it moving. I'm going to have to do this again. Yeah, I'll explain it.
Do you want to stay on LJ Cryer or do you want to hit and get Michigan State's Jace Richardson?
I suggest you hit, sir.
Keep it going.
You're taking Jace Richardson.
Oh, sorry.
I'll stay.
You don't know how to play Stay or Hit.
Stay.
Is this your first time inside Chumba Casino? Is this your first time inside Chumba Casino?
Sorry.
You don't know how to play. You don't know how to play the Stay or Hit segment. When are we going to teach you how to play Stay or Hit?
It's been a successful venture since the first time we did it. I'll stay.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just start saying it instead.
Yeah, maybe eliminate some of the variables here. All right. Do you want to stay on Houston's LJ Cryer or hit and get Alabama's Mark Sears?
Hey, I got a question for you before we get out of this.
Okay.
So I've got Houston winning the national title.
That's right.
So logically, shouldn't I stay with the player on the team? But like, it could conceivably, Emmanuel Sharp or JoJo Tugler could be the mop instead. So I'm a little bit lost as to what to do.
Well, you better figure it out.
You know what? F it.
I suggest you hit, sir.
I got Bama in the Final Four. Give me Sears.
Last one. Do you want to stay on Alabama's Mark Sears or hit and get Duke's Cooper Flag?
I'll stay. I've got Bama in the Final Four. I've got Bama over Duke. Going down with the ship. So, yeah, give me Mark Sears. And we mostly got through that without a scratch, except not at all. It's been a joy.
Oh, man. You did. You tried hard. I could tell you were trying hard, at least.
I was trying hard.
You were giving a good effort. You just got a little confused along the way. It happens. It happens. Nobody ever said stay or hit ain't a little confusing
mine, I
sometimes. Nobody said stay or hit can't get a little confusing sometimes. That was the Stay or Hit segment brought to you by Chumba Casino. Ready to dive into some excitement? Chumba Casino, that's where it's at. It's free to play, so just jump right in and explore over hundreds of social casino-style games with fresh new releases every week. Play anytime, anywhere, and enjoy free daily login bonuses and an amazing welcome offer. Now it's time for the Flashback segment, brought to you by Travis Mathew, apparel designed for confidence and comfort no matter where the day takes you. Norlander, heading into the Sweet 16, do you mind if we flash back to a memorable Sweet 16 game? The date was Friday, March 28, 2008. Final score, Davidson 73, Wisconsin 56. It happened in Detroit after scoring 40 points in a tournament opening win over Gonzaga, and then 30 in a second-round win over Georgetown. A young man named Stephen Curry put 33 on the Badgers to launch Davidson into the Elite Eight of the 2008 NCAA tournament. Norlander, what do you remember about Steph torching Wisconsin on a Friday night in Detroit?
I remember... So they beat Gonzaga, they get some buzz first round, and then the win over Georgetown was like they beat Gonzaga, and everyone was like, "All right, this dude on Davidson." Like there was like college hoops buzz about him going into the tournament, and then he did it against Gonzaga. It was like we might really have something here, and then they beat a good Georgetown team, like top 10 level Georgetown team, and then that carries over into the Sweet 16, and you had 4 days in between or whatever, 5 days in between the games, and then the Wisconsin win. It's a Wisconsin team that was 30. People realize this team was 31-5. What do you know about Joe Krabenhoff other than he's an assistant now and might have been assaulted in a handshake line by Juwan Howard? Before that, he was a starter on that very team. Jason Bohannon,
in the same lifetime, you get torched by Steph Curry and slapped by Juwan Howard in the same lifetime.
He's one of a kind. Joe Krabenhoff. John Lure was on this team as a freshman. That was a good Wisconsin team, and then Curry absolutely torched him. I did the story a couple weeks ago. Biggest stars in the sport in the past 25 years, and Steph Curry cracked the top 10 because of this list. And frankly, ending in the Sweet 16 versus ending in the Elite 8 has an impact on that overall. They got knocked out by 2 days later against Kansas. I think that game was also in a football stadium, oh, by the way, right?
Hey, by the way, somebody in the chat said the reason they're doing this at Lucas Oil is because Indiana High School state tournament is in Cambridge or something like that. So
and what's interesting about that is,
and I don't know why I'm repeating that out loud. I'm going to trust this person, but just know that just know that the chat is often wrong about what it's talking about.
I'm taking the chat's word for it, and I believe it because in Indiana, like they don't mess around with their high school hoops, and I actually believe high school ball means so much to that state that they're like, no, you're not getting the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 in this building. You're going to take it down the streets of Lucas Oil. I actually believe that there would be enough people that cared about it enough that's why it's happening. But that is interesting on the same. But yeah, no, the Curry stuff was a major moment, and it's interesting to go look back on where he was at that point in his career. He did return, by the way, the next season, and Davidson didn't make the tournament, but we see Steph now as the greatest shooter of all time, unquestionably one of the 20 best, 15 best, even you can make the case, NBA players of all time, and one of the most influential players of all time just because of what he's done over the years. But it's fun to go back and for us who are old enough to do so, to transport back in time to that point in his career when there were serious questions about if he could actually sustain and have the ability to be a player that could make a second NBA contract. And he became this March Madness star, this college basketball celebrity. And it's pretty cool now, all these years later, that he's maintained a strong bond with Davidson, and it's going to be like they're like de facto side GM. I think that's absolutely awesome, and also speaks to where we are in college athletics.
I believe, not just believe. Let me actually double check this. I know I was in Charlotte that night. There was a regional final in Charlotte, and Tennessee was there, North Carolina was there, Louisville, Washington State. It was a Thursday-Saturday site. So you know how it is when you're at these sites. On the days you got games, you're in the arena, and then on the other days, you do your off-day press availability, knock out a column, gather up your media friends, find a place to watch the games, get some drinks and some quesadillas or whatever. And how about this? I don't remember a single thing about what I actually covered in Charlotte.
Why am I not surprised?
I mean, I know North Carolina came out of there because that was the year all 4 number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four. I don't remember who played who. I don't remember who scored. I don't remember a single thing about the games. But I remember being in Charlotte watching Steph Curry play Wisconsin. I remember that. But I don't remember the games I actually attended in Charlotte. But I remember watching Steph. And that felt like the big breakout moment. And it is among the reasons making the Sweet 16 is such a bigger deal than just getting to the round of 32.
Sing it. Yes.
It's just such a bigger deal because on Thursday, we're just, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, it's just games. It's just stuff happening. And like, congratulations if something cool happened for you, but like something cool happened for somebody else, and there's a lot of stuff happening. And then there's a lot of stuff happening on Friday. And then if you're gone on Saturday, it's like, whatever. But when you go to the Sweet 16, you get that Monday where people are talking about you and focused on you. Tuesday, talking about you and focused on you. Wednesday, talking about you and focused on you. And for Steph, you actually had the extra day because this was a Friday-Sunday regional final. And so you get them in there against a Georgetown team that had recently been in the Final Four with Roy Hibbert. Mm-hmm. Now they're there, Roy Hibbert's senior year. And this was coming off of Steph doing the 40 against Gonzaga and the 30 against Georgetown. And it felt like the whole world was like, okay, Del Curry's kid can really shoot it. And he's going crazy for a mid-major. And then rather than like throw up one of those 3 of 7, he did it again. He was just awesome again. And it really felt like that was the introduction to Steph Curry. I've talked to Roy Hibbert about this. We obviously work together now.
I think I've seen a photo.
Some documentary was a Steph Curry documentary a few years ago. And they reached out to Roy and they were like, hey, we want to sit down with you. You know, we know your final college game was against Steph and Davidson. And he just said, I can't do it.
I thought you were saying he was out of the kindness of his heart. He thought I got to do this. But he said, no, never lose my number.
He has the kindest heart. Roy Hibbert is the nicest man in the world. Like, I wish Roy Hibbert, I love working with Roy Hibbert, and I also wish he lived next door to me. That's the greatest compliment I can ever give former athletes. Like, I would have loved for him to be the starting center on my favorite NBA team, and I would love for him to be my neighbor. He's just an awesome guy. But that's how much it hurt him to have his college career ended by Steph Curry. He was like, I can't. I just don't want to talk about it. And so he respectfully declined to participate. And then, of course, Davidson goes to the Elite Eight. They play Kansas. They lose 59-57. Trivia time. Who took the potential game-winning 3 at the buzzer for Davidson? It was not Steph.
The White Lobster.
Do you remember his name?
We've done, you know what's crazy is we've done this on the show before. We've done this exact thing. It's Andrew something. I'm almost positive. Am I right?
Or Jason Richards.
Oh no, yeah, Andrew Lovedale's the other player. Sorry,
yeah. Jason
Andrew
Richards.
Lovedale, not white.
Jason Richards missed a game-winning 3 in the final seconds, and if he makes that, I really believe the entire course of college basketball history has changed. Because I really believe if he makes that,
where does Bill Self go?
Oklahoma State. He's the head coach at Oklahoma State. He leaves after 2008 season because Kansas fans are yelling, this guy has one seed every year but can't ever actually get to the Final Four. And he says, enough of this. I'm out. I'm going to my alma mater. And he would have spent the next 20 years beating Kansas's brains in at Oklahoma State. As it is, he's won multiple national championships at Kansas, including one that season. But I genuinely believe if that Davidson-Kansas game goes differently, Bill Self, that is Bill Self's last game as the Kansas coach. I think that's true.
I actually I like that you brought this up. I know we're going to preview the Sweet 16 in a second, but we won't have it this year. So in absence of that, it was kind of a fun little walk down memory lane. And my last point here, I was on the radio with our colleague Bill Ryder earlier today, who had awesome, kind things to say about you and the pod, and very much appreciated that. But I made the point, the thing I love about the sport and the tournament is it's really the only sporting event in America, in my opinion, where making the like for some schools, making the tournament, you hang a banner. Other schools making the Sweet 16, that's a major accomplishment. You hang a banner. You make a Final Four, you hang a banner, and then obviously win a title. I just love how you get rewarded and celebrated, even if you don't ultimately end up being the last team standing. And I think that's a great thing. It doesn't get talked about enough, and it's kind of unique to American sports.
All right. That was the Flashback segment brought to you by Travis Mathew, apparel designed for confidence and comfort no matter where the day takes you. Appreciate Travis Mathew being a part of the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Send us along some stuff. Terrific quality. Feels great. You can learn more. TravisMathew.com. When we come back, it's time for the Final 4-1 presented by FanDuel. But first, let's get a word from our partners.
Guys, can you feel it? Legends were born here. History was made here. These are hallowed grounds.
Hallowed grounds? The NCAA squad room?
Well, I wasn't talking about that, but I was talking about Augusta National.
All right. It's finally time for the Masters. I hear it's a tradition unlike any other.
We are back from break, and there's my buddy GP. I see we are time. It's time for the Final 4-1 presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more. What we're going to do here is we're going to pick the 4 Thursday games, and then we're going to pick Auburn versus Michigan as the Friday game. We do this every week, obviously, and there's still 5 to pick, but we won't have another show to do this appropriately so before then. So that's what we're going to do. I assume GP has named the arenas, but I have no idea.
Oh, you know I've named the arenas. Game 1, Thursday, 7:09 Eastern. It's Alabama BYU inside the Ray Liotta Center.
Okay. Do I need to know why?
He was born in Newark.
Okay, there we go.
Ray Liotta, the late, great Ray Liotta was born in Newark. You can watch it on CBS. Alabama -5.5.
Bama -5.5. I am psyched to be in the building for this one. This is BYU's first Sweet 16 game since Jimmer Fredette was in uniform. BYU, if it were to win, would be in the Elite Eight for the first time since '81. Danny Ainge was on the team then. That was before I was born. If they get there, by the way, BYU, the 43-year gap between Elite Eight, they got to win it. But if they do, it would tie Clemson for the 4th longest gap ever between Elite Eight appearances there. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this one. A note about this region, by the way, all 4 coaches in this region have never missed the tournament when they've been at their current school. Now, Kevin Young just got there, but Nate Oates, Tommy Lloyd, John Shire, every year there's been a tournament and they've been at their current school, they've made it there. And they haven't been there long. Everyone's been there 6 seasons or fewer. BYU's been hot. 11-1 in its past 12 games. Alabama coming off of a game against St. Mary's where it pretty much dominated the conversation. I'm wondering, Richie Saunders, how does Alabama contain him? He had 25 points. Yegor Demon, is this, does he have a Sweet 16 moment running the point for BYU here? I've got Bama in my bracket, but I think there is a scenario in which BYU actually wins this game and exhibits again just how good and if not great it's been, Parrish, over the past 6 weeks. So I will take Bama to win. I will take BYU to cover, and I really, really want to see a cover. I want 102-100. Give me something like that. Give me the Cougars to cover.
I'm also going to take BYU plus the points. They're 11-1 in their past 12, which we've talked about before. Lone loss to Houston. They started this run this 12-game stretch on February 11th. And if you go back to February 11th and just run the numbers from that point forward, the only teams in the country ranked higher at BartTorvik.com from February 11th to this day are Duke, Houston, and Florida. 3 number 1 seeds. BYU is a top 4 team. Not over the past week or 2 weeks, for 6 weeks now. For 6 weeks now, BYU has been performing like a top 4 team, according to BartTorvik.com. I will take the Cougars plus the 5.5. Game 2, Thursday, 7:39 p.m. Eastern, Maryland, Florida, inside the Bruce Lee Center. You can watch it. Bruce Lee, born in San Francisco.
How about that?
How about that? How about that?
I like it.
You can watch it on TBS, Florida, minus 6.5.
How about this nugget? Florida has won, and now this doesn't really mean anything, but it is a pattern nonetheless. Florida has not lost a Sweet 16 game since 1999. It has won 8 in a row, and it has played in a regional semi. That's the second longest streak ever. Carolina went 11 in a row from 93 to 2012. Gators average 85.4 points per game this season. Maryland has not allowed a single team to hit 85 in a game. Over under 84.5 points for Florida in this game, GP.
Under.
I would also say under, but if it was 80.5, I might take the over. Maryland's really good. Another interesting note, in the past 10 tournaments, teams that hit a buzzer beater, now some of these teams are obviously underdogs. Maryland wasn't, but teams, the game after they hit a buzzer beater, are 1-7 in the past 10 tournaments. Maryland is in that situation right here, right now. Florida is coming off of a genuinely tiresome game against UConn in which the Huskies could have well won it. Walter Clayton Jr. had 13 points in the final 8 minutes and carried them to the win there. Impressive stuff. And, sometimes teams get to a title game, Parrish, and we look at the previous 5 wins they have. And sometimes it's like, wow, this team's kind of strutted here, and there was only one team that might have picked them off. And I wonder if Florida might be fated to that. Not what I have in my bracket. I have Maryland over Florida. Had that since Selection Sunday. I'm not changing it now. The Terps, if they can avoid foul trouble and continue to get enough from the Crab 5, then they've got a shot. But they've got a couple other things working against them. 9 straight losses against top 6 seeds in the tournament for Maryland. Last beat the top 6 seed in 2003 when they beat 3 seed Xavier. Again, that doesn't affect this team, but it's a pattern nonetheless. Can't help but notice it. Florida's 14-1 in its past 15, but Maryland is 15-4 in its past 19, and all 4 games came on buzzer beaters. I will say Maryland wins straight up. I'm going to stick with my bracket pick, but I'm not ultra confident in it. I say the Crab 5 gets it done. They're averaging 69 points collectively. I say they best that. I say they get to like 73, 74, and the bench picks up the rest, and they get it done narrowly against Florida.
Florida's awesome, but 6.5 points, that's a lot to give to Derek Queen when he gets to take all those steps,
It's true.
I mean,
it's
6.5 points, 6.5 points, and the other team's best player gets to take all those steps. That's tough.
I have to listen to it, but apparently Van Pelt and Stanford Steve, they do their own pod. Apparently Van Pelt, as someone said, hey, Van Pelt called out the fact that you called out the traveling on Twitter. I didn't call it out. I hit up an official. Now Van Pelt's a Maryland fan, so I get it. But I hit up an official, and they said that's a travel, and then it just I'm fine with the call, but
Yeah, you hit up an official, but more specifically, an anti-Maryland official. Yeah. Any of us can text an anti-Terrapin official. We all have those in our phone.
Again, I think it was a travel. It doesn't bother me that it wasn't called. And I recognize that there is a group of people out there that are very much like, nah, man, you got to call it. He traveled. But I just don't think it's a reasonable expectation when it was that much when it was just within the realm of interpretation that they're going to call it in that spot. So here we are.
6.5 points, too many to give to a Derek Queen-led team when he gets to take all those steps. So I'm taking the points. Game 3, Thursday, 9:39 p.m. Eastern. It's Duke, Arizona, inside the Joe Pesci Center. Does that surprise you? Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta, both from Newark.
Not surprised whatsoever. Hold on. I'm fact-checking you in real time. He's really from Newark?
That's what it said.
On Wikipedia, which is obviously flawless. First.
What happened?
What's with the photo of Joe Pesci on his Wikipedia? We've done this on this show. What is with this photo? Bring it up, Nada. What is with some of the photos of people on Wikipedia?
I actually think I have an answer for this.
Because it can't be like licensed. I know that. Like you can't put a gay
Yeah.
image of someone. It's got to be an independent thing.
It's got to be an independent thing.
I mean, I see it now and I know it's Joe Pesci, but if someone just showed me a picture and said, "Who is this?" I'd be like, I don't know. Joe Pesci can't be okay with that photo. He's in sunglasses. Nana's bringing it up on the YouTube stream. What is that? I mean, maybe he's on set for another movie role. I don't know. But him being from Newark, that's a great pull by you. A great pull.
It's not even a pull as much as it's a Google search of famous people from Newark.
Okay, fair enough.
But I appreciate the compliment. Joe Pesci Center, that's where we're doing this. You can watch it on CBS. It's America's most watched network of stars. Duke minus 9.5.
Does it surprise you that this is only the third time these two schools have met in the tournament? Doesn't it feel like it's more?
If you would have just asked me blindly, have Duke and Arizona already played more than 2 times in the NCAA tournament, I would have said, yeah, I imagine Lute and Kay got into it a few more times than that.
Yeah, they met in the title game back in 2001, and then Arizona has been in the spot before, not as a 4 but a 5 seed. Derek Williams, 2011, they knocked off a good Duke team there. We'll see if they can repeat it. By the way, I'm lucky in the East. 4 of the top 5 scoring teams in the tournament are in this region. Duke is averaging 91 a game, Arizona 90, BYU 85.5, and Bama 85. Florida is the other team in the top 5 at 87 a game. If Duke beats Arizona in this game, it will break the tie with Duke for the most wins over a 1 seed in tournament history. I think it's at 7 apiece, and it would get 8. It's got to do it, though. I don't know. We'll see. Man, I don't know. Duke has never lost in Jersey in the tournament. It's, I mean, you might as well. We should have named the building after Kay, because they've never lost ever in Jersey in the tournament.
Come on, Duke.
There we go.
Let's go.
Yep, there we go. Duke has outscored his first 2 opponents by 67 points. That's the 8th best ever through 2 games in the tournament, and was lava-like against Baylor. 64% from the field, 55% from 3. A lot of that was Tyrese Proctor, who has 44 points and made 13 threes through 2 games. If that keeps up, no one's beating Duke in this region. That's just not going to happen. They're going to have to find a way. I have Duke 9.5, Parrish. That is a number.
9.5 is a number. I can confirm that.
I will have Arizona inside the 9.5. I've got an over/under for you on Caleb Love. Okay, he's
over. I don't even care.
No matter the number. What if I give you 40?
40, then I'm going over. You can say shot attempts.
Well,
points.
that's one. Well, I hear you. And on the same token, like they've got to be strategic. It can't be that, because if it is that, then you really might shoot yourself out of this game. Caleb Love in his career is 5-4 against Duke, 9 games, 16 points a game, 4.2 assists, 36.7% from the field, 26.7% from 3, and more specifically, the last 4 games, he has not been good at all. I'm setting the over-under at 21.5 points for Caleb Love. Last thing from me, and then you can pick the game and we can keep it moving. I was at this game earlier this season. Duke went to Arizona. That was the Friday before I flew to Maui. That was a 69-55 win. I thought it was going to be competitive. It wasn't. Flag went for 24 in that game. Arizona just did not have it at all. It was a clear-cut, obvious Duke win. Flag played really well, and they pulled away. So we'll see. And this is effectively a rubber match in the past 2 seasons. Zona won at Duke a year ago, but a lot of the players on that team aren't on this team. Give me Duke to win. Give me Zona to cover.
Yeah, I don't love, if I'm on the Arizona side of things, that Duke has already beat them pretty comfortably in Arizona.
Yeah. And
is clearly operating at the tip top of the sport and blowing everybody out. But 9.5 9.5's a lot for a Caleb Love-led team against Duke. This is Caleb Love we're talking about. He ended Mike Krzyzewski's career. He ended Paolo Banchero's college career. Now he has an opportunity to end Cooper Flagg's college career. Can you get the scalp of a K and the scalp of 2 number 1 picks in the NBA draft before you leave college?
It's okay. It's more likely than not that won't happen. But I'm telling you, if Arizona wins and Caleb Love is the best player on the floor for Arizona in that game, he has just a distinct college career. Like there's no one else that you can put next to him if that actually happens. I'm here for the show if he can bring it, but we'll see. That would be, I mean, just that would be unreal narrative power.
If Caleb Love goes for 30 and ends Duke's tournament run while Duke is the favorite to win it,
with the number one
ends Cooper Flagg's college career, not to mention Con Knipples, come on Malawatches, after already ending Coach K's career and already ending Paolo Banchero's career, do they raise his number into the rafters at the Dean Smith Center? I know he left there. I know he spent his last few years at Arizona. Should his number still hang inside
absolutely
Dean Smith Center? I think so too.
They absolutely should. I'm not even being funny. Like, you should totally do that. Yeah. Put it at both. Raise it in both.
Raise it in both.
Arizona beats Duke and then gets wiped by Bama by 20. Raise it anyway. What do we care?
How about this? If Caleb Love ends Cooper Flagg's college career after already ending Coach K's career and Paolo Banchero's career, everybody has to retire Caleb Love's number, like Jackie Robinson's number. You know how
it's sport wide.
Yeah, sport wide.
Hold on. And also trivia time.
Okay.
What is Caleb Love's number?
I don't know. 2. I think it's 2.
It is 1. Well, no.
It was 2.
It was 2. It was 2, but is it? No, it is 2. It is 2. The first Google image that came up was 1, but that's not accurate. Then I see him in a bunch of 2s. You're right. He's got. Hold on. There are multiple images. Did he change his number year over year? I see him in an Arizona jersey with 2 and 1 right now.
I don't know. It's as bizarre as this is going to sound. I took time the other night to look up. I don't know people's numbers. The only number I know is Michael Jordan's.
How about this? He wore 2 last season, and he's wearing 1 this season.
Okay. I knew that he had either gone from 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, because for reasons that I can't recall right now, I actually took the time I was wondering at some point what number is Caleb Love. I don't know why I was wondering that, but I was for some reason.
I had no idea. There we go. Anyway, raise it. So hold on. We got to figure this out. This is like Hall of Fame plaque kind of thing. Yeah. Like, what team are you going in? It can't be both numbers. I'm sorry, it can't. I think 2 is the more appropriate one. He wore it at Carolina. So we're retiring 2 across college basketball if he winds up doing this.
Kobe has 2 numbers retired. I think Caleb Love deserves to have 2 numbers.
He drops 81 on Duke.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's my suggestion. All right? Take it for what it's worth. I'm not saying every idea I have is great. All right? But here's my idea. Caleb Love ends Cooper Flagg's college career after ending Coach K's career and Paolo Banchero's. His number 1 and his number 2 are retired in every Division I university arena in the country, just like Jackie Robinson. That's what I think.
Pick the game.
Taking Arizona and Caleb Love plus the 9.5. What are you talking about, man?
I think we both did.
Duke is going to beat them dudes by 30. All right. What do I actually think? Duke's going to kill them. Okay. But what would be the funniest? Caleb Love ruining Duke again. That would be the funniest. I'm not saying I'm rooting for it. I'm just saying that would be the thing that would be the funniest. That'd be the funniest thing we could do. Game 4 Thursday, 10:09 Eastern. It's Texas Tech and Arkansas. You can watch it on TBS. Texas Tech minus 5.5.
How about Texas Tech getting to a 3rd Sweet 16 in the past 6 years with 3 different coaches? It's actually pretty damn impressive. And Arkansas, remember the conceit on the show? This goes back like 7 years ago now. We just got to randomly wondering, like, when is the last time Arkansas made the Sweet 16? And it wound up being 1996. So they went 23 seasons without making one. Now they've been 4 the past 5 years between Muss and Calipari. Both these teams were in the Southwest Conference once upon a time. GP's uncle grew up on the Southwest Conference. He grew up on the Metro, but I believe your uncle and extended members of your family grew up on the SWC. These schools have played each other 80 times in history. 40 versus 40. Yep, you've heard of 30 for 30? 40-40, these two schools.
Yep.
Darian Williams was awesome. JT Toppin was as well against Drake. Williams had a season high 28 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. Really, really good stuff. Arkansas fans are loving the fact that, people are now, power ranking the Sweet 16, the kind of stuff that happens every year. And just by, it's a really, really strong Sweet 16, but someone's got to be last, and Arkansas comfortably rates last in every metric. So if you need that for more motivation, by all means. If Calipari wins, I will not be surprised in the least. But we had to redo our brackets. I actually have Texas Tech coming out of this region now. Grant McCaslin and the Red Raiders getting it done. Yeah, you heard me, Texas Tech fans. I've got your team coming out of the West, getting to San Antonio. And if it was Texas Tech and Houston in San Antonio, that would be quite a story overall. I will take Tech to win and Tech to cover.
I don't have the numbers on this, but it feels like the Cinderella stories, when those stories end, they often end by double digits. St. Peter's is a great story up until
the Davidson team we just talked about.
Yeah, Davidson is an exception. They were in it with Kansas when they got eliminated, but St. Peter's got blown when it got eliminated from the tournament. It got run out of the, it just got run completely off the court. Let me look at another one real quick.
Mason. Butler didn't in the title game the first year. Didn't get run off the court in the second game. It was just hideous in the 2011 title game. Loyola Chicago wasn't competitive. That was 7 years ago. I get your gist. That's
obviously Arkansas is not a traditional Cinderella.
It's not a Cinderella, period. There's nothing about the University of Arkansas that is Cinderella-ish, except for Johnny Cinderella
and a double-digit C.
I got the Arkansas fans in the chat now all ticked off. I can't win with you people. I got to take a team.
How long is John Calipari going to have to overachieve with double-digit seeds before you people give him the respect that he deserves?
I did. I covered it. Now, what is it? Guns up, Red Raiders. Here we go. There we go.
I don't know how to do it exactly. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I got Texas Tech minus the 5.5. The Arkansas Cinderella story. It ends right here. Game 5. This is hold on.
Before I do game 5, I got the N1 as per usual. Nada, did we pick every game the same? Flip on the mic. Are we agreeing across the board, Nada? You there? Okay.
You guys have picked exactly the same game.
Oh gosh. I already know what that means.
Wrong.
We're in trouble. That's not good. I do not like, unintentionally, by the way, that you and I have picked every single one the same. Not good. You got thoughts? He's got no thoughts.
I'm just providing expert picks.
Oh.
I don't pay attention to what you're doing. I'm just trying to provide the best expert picks on the internet.
No, don't worry, GP. I'll get us out of here quick. I do want to check because we have to provide every year. We have to provide expert picks for every single tournament game in the tournament. And I have Scout's honor. I'm like Children's Life. I have not looked at this before right now. Let's see how we've done straight up and against the spread for the whole tournament. Straight up, GP sitting at 28-24. Obviously straight up. I'm at 30-22. Palm is 30-22. Chip and Boone are 27-25. Cobb is 30-22. Salerno 31-21. He's out ahead of the pack. Now let's see what we've done against the spread. Let's just take a guess, Parrish. For the tournament so far, how many games over or under 500 versus the spread do you think you are?
No idea.
Just take a guess.
7 games over 500 because I'm awesome.
There's no chance.
Yeah.
Dude, you're 4 games over straight up. You think you're 7 games over against the spread?
Yes.
I'm going to say I'm 2 over against the spread, and you are 4 under against the spread. Here we go. Hold on. Look at your boy. No, this can't be right. The same exact record. No, this isn't right. There's no way this is right. Hold on. It says it's 30-22 and you're 28-24. It's the same exact number with both? No. Hold on. I'm fixing this. Hold on. That was with the Sweet 16. Give me a second, GP. Give me a second. Here it is. In the second round, I went 11-5. You went 9-7. First round. Hold on. One more, and then we'll pick this game. Don't worry. This is riveting. I know. First round, 18-14 from my guy GP. Yeah. I went 17-15, so I think I'm up 1 on you at the site. You're doing good.
I told you. I tried to tell you.
Expert picks. Maybe we're okay.
Expert picks. These are the best expert picks on the internet with the most thought behind them. They're not only the best, they're the most thought out.
Yes,
they're the most thought out expert picks on the internet. If somebody ever asks you about the Eye on College Basketball Final 4 and 1, I want you to tell them. In fact, there's more of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments, but I would also like this to be in the comments. GP and Matt provide the most thought out and best expert picks on the entire internet. Nobody is doing it like these two. Something like that.
Let me tell you something. If I know one guy who has the time to sit down, think about, and sort out his thoughts on picks, it's that guy right there on the left side of your screen. That's right. That's him. That's him. There's no doubt about it. And one. We're going Friday, approximately 9:39 Eastern tip on CBS. It's America's most watched network. It's the network of stars. It's the network adjacent to Paramount Plus, which has Landman. It's Auburn.
Streaming now. You can stream the entire first season right now.
You can. By the way, I've even checked our updated pool standings. I'll try and get that in. A stink bug literally just flew into my shot. Was that on? A stink bug is literally on my desk right now. What is going on? What? It's a sign from the gods. These picks stink. I'm not even kidding. I would pick it up, but I'm grossed out by it. Oh, Parrish. Oh, gosh. What is this thing? This little dude flew right into our shot. Don't fly away. Oh, trying to climb under my computer. Ah! What is it with me and the animals?
I caught a fly on national television one night.
I do remember that. Where was that?
With my CBS Broadcast Center. It was just buzzing around my head live on TV. I reached out, caught it, then released it with a flip, unharmed. It flew away. And look at that, buddy.
If you're watching, you see it. This stink bug just flew right into my shot.
How you get stink bugs in your house like that?
I don't know. I don't know how this thing got in here. But right down the toilet once the pot's done. So stay right there.
So I catch this fly. I toss it away. It was amazing television. I thought for sure this is going to be my big break. And then 20 minutes after that was over, they had like some dancing cartoon character things over in Studio 43.
Yeah.
With Clark. Yeah, those things.
Oh, that was the same night. Clark losing his mind and the classic smash cut to Gumbel with a deadpan look on his face.
Within 20 minutes of each other. It was like that night where Drake released that one track and then Kendrick came right back on the top of him 15 minutes later with Meet the Grams. That's what I felt like happened to me. Like I was like, this is my moment.
You're the Drake of CBS. All right, you said it.
That's not what I meant. I was just trying to make a point. I was like, this is going to be my moment. This is the big break I've been waiting for in my career. And then I got overshadowed by those dancing things and Clark Kellogg. It was a humbling moment. It was a humbling moment for me. But one that I probably needed, if you want to know the truth. It was a humbling moment, but one that I probably needed.
I think we started trying to pick this game about 7 minutes ago. We're about to do it now. If you're curious on the other 3 games that are going to happen Friday, guess what? You go to CBSSports.com. You go to Expert Picks. You're going to find us there, straight up and against the spread. You can find them there. Auburn, Michigan, 9:39 Eastern, Friday night, CBS. This is on, I think you have named a variety of venues in the greater Atlanta area after Andre 3000. This is going to be on Big Boy Court, okay?
It could be Playboy Cardi Arena. It could be Playboy Cardi Arena.
Yeah, that's fine. I name the courts. You name the buildings. We know how this goes. This is Big Boy Court because this is a big boy game. Auburn, Michigan, and the line is Tigers minus 8.5. Who you got?
I have Auburn winning the national championship. I'm going to pick Auburn to win the game, but I don't like giving 8.5 points to the Big Ten tournament champs. I think that number is more of a byproduct of the way Auburn was playing 5 weeks ago than it is a byproduct of the way Auburn has been playing recently. So I still believe in Auburn. I still have Auburn winning, but I will take Dusty May plus 8.5 points.
Michigan has won 13 games by 4 points or fewer this season. If you've really been dialed in, you're aware of that. If you did not know, that's the most in a season since Bradley did it in 85-86. Trey Donaldson plays for Michigan. He played last season for Auburn, so he gets to face his former team. That'll be an interesting X&O attack from Auburn there. And by the way, speaking of players at new schools, kind of cool. This is something we haven't talked on the show. We don't have to go too long on it, but Dusty Mace, still in the Sweet 16. Vlad Golden is still in the Sweet 16. Elijah Martin is still in the Sweet 16. Janelle Davis is still in the Sweet 16. They were all on the Final Four FAU team, and those were the 3 best players on that team, and they're still sticking around. That's kind of cool, GP.
No, it's great. We did actually do a segment on it on Inside College Basketball, I think late Sunday, just sort of set up in jump ball which former FAU player is most likely to return to the Final Four. And I think the right answer is probably Elijah Martin, just because of the team that he plays for.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't want to say I could see any of them getting there, but I think all 4 teams in Atlanta have a reasonable hope of getting there. Like even if I'm coaching Ole Miss, I'm like, why can't we do this?
Mm-hmm.
Auburn is great, but hasn't been as great lately. Just 3-3 of their past 6, and outside of the top 30 at Bart Torvik in that stretch. And then, Michigan State or Michigan, we'll go take a shot at either one of them. Or you beat Michigan, and then you get. I think even if you're Ole Miss, you figure. I think all 4 teams in Atlanta can reasonably believe we can win 2 games here. I'll take Michigan. I'll take Michigan plus the points. But to circle back to the FAU stuff, if I had to pick one to get there, probably Elijah Martin.
This matchup, I picked it because I find it super duper fascinating. Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broom, how much time are they able to spend time on the floor together? I did a story on Michigan back in December. If it wasn't, I reported on it in December, and we published it in early January for the court report. 2 7-footers, they play more time together on the floor than anyone. Dusty May went with the 2 big look. How much will Auburn be forced to or not with all of that? You would think Broom will be on Wolf, and Golden will be defended by Cardwell. Donaldson's involvement, I just think he'll be a key player here. Roddy Gale was also awesome for Michigan in the previous game. And do we have does Broom show up and put on the kind of performance where it's one of the top 2 or 3 things we're talking about on Friday night? Or does his kind of slump continue here? And does Auburn win in spite of it? Is it the reason why they can't get past? Does Michigan win another close game? There's a whole variety of stuff. I can see a scenario, and we talked about this earlier today, 2 podcasts in one day. We love you folks. Can Auburn just simply flip a switch? And can you really do it against a team like Michigan? And can Michigan avoid having 14, 15, 16, 17 turnovers against an Auburn team, which at its best, Auburn's best is better than Michigan's best, but Michigan has been really, really good as of late. One more factoid, and then I'll give you my pick. These teams have only met once before, and when they did, the Fab Five was there. It was back in 1993. They played in something called the Fiesta Bowl Classic, which I thought was a football game, but apparently back then they also did it in hoops. Michigan won it. Jimmy King had 22 points, Jalen Rose 21, Juwan Howard 20 points there. I have Auburn winning the game. I'm also like trying to speak into existence like a lot of good stuff. Like we're due, GP. Like let's get 1 or 2 more of those Maryland, Colorado State type of endings. I will have Michigan inside the number, just a little bit too big for me. But I would say it feels like they're just begging you to take Michigan inside the number. And so watch Auburn go ahead and win by 13. Auburn fans, I got your team making it all the way to the title game. I think they win here, but I'll take Michigan inside the number, which I think means unintentionally we have agreed across the board in the Final Four and 1.
Oh, that's obvious.
That's going to go
obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll go brilliantly. Remember, comments need to be GP and Norlander are providing the most well thought out expert picks on the internet anywhere. Nobody is doing it like these 2. All right. That's where we're at. Devin Downey, shouts to you. Chester, South Carolina. Terry Teagle's a legend. Huck Larnell. Thank you guys once again for watching and listening to the Eye on College Basketball podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, Apple and Spotify. More of us than there are of them. That needs to be reflected. So do that. And we will talk to you again, I believe, late Thursday night after the games are over. Till then, take care.